The penultimate episode of Star Wars, Skeleton Crew's first season certainly ended in ominous fashion, with Jude Law's Jod Non-Nehwood, or is it Captain Silvo, having forced his way onto Atatin, gaining access to the Vault of Riches, and then approaching his pint-sized companions and their parents with lightsaber drawn. Considering Jod had threatened earlier to carve up their parents, each one, piece by piece, it was not a welcome sight for Vim, Ravi Kabakonyers, and company. But would he carry out the thread on the finale, titled The Real Good Guys and written by creators Christopher Ford and John Watts while directed by Watts? Of course not. This is a family-friendly Star Wars show on Disney+. That would be crazy. Instead, the Skeleton Crew finale went in a different direction. However, those assuming Jod would be redeemed by the end were sorely mistaken. The pirate captain turned full villain in the finale. It turned out Jod did not just want to bluff his way into the Atatin vault and steal a bunch of credits. He wanted to take over the entire planet and subjugate its citizens to keep making him even more money under his rule, even announcing at one point over the loudspeaker system that you all now work for me. He also killed the planet's supervisor, who turned out to just be a very HAL 9000-looking droid voiced by Stephen Fry. But hey, we always knew Jod was no fans of droids. Of course, Vim and company would eventually save the day. Vim's dad, Wendell, Tondade Bimp, was able to get the power back on that was shut off once the supervisor got lightsabered into oblivion. And then KB, Kiriana Krater, flew past the planet's barrier to relay a message to K-Chwimem, Alia Shokat, who promised to send the New Republic's best pilots in the galaxy. Finally, Fern's mom, Farah Carrie Condon, helped Wendell take down the barrier that enabled the X-Wings, the aforementioned real good guys, to fly in and shoot down the pirates for good. While Jod was brutal in his plan for global domination, he did seem to pull back from ever harming any of his former space companions. He appeared to intentionally miss one blaster shot at Fern. Rain Kira Armstrong was most likely bluffing when he held a lightsaber to Wendell's throat and threw down his blaster rather than prolonging the conflict with Vim, whom would have been ill-equipped to block Jod's shot with his drawn lightsaber. "I don't want to hurt anyone," Jod said at one point, and that did seem to be the case. The Force-sensitive pirate also finally shared his origin story, explaining how he was found by a Jedi when he was a kid living in a hole in the ground. The Jedi Master taught him some basic training before she was hunted down during Order 66. "They made me watch while they killed her," he explained. Clearly, the event hardened him, turning the pupil into a full-on criminal. At the end, with the battle lost and his ship in flames, a defeated Jod stayed back and watched the wreckage all around him, even as Vim called his tormentor to join them. Now that Atatin has been saved and all the prepubescent heroes remain in one piece, the question becomes, what next? Will there be a Skeleton Crew Season 2? Ahsoka recently got a second season, but The Acolyte did not. Will Jod and Slash or the kids show up in one of the other Star Wars streaming shows set in the same timeline like Ahsoka or The Mandalorian? Or perhaps the upcoming The Mandalorian and Grogu film? And was there any meaning behind the end credits scene, which felt almost like a pop-up book depicting Jedi adventures that was being viewed on some sort of device? Star Wars fans will now no doubt be as restless as Vim himself to learn whether Jod will somehow, somewhere, someway get that redemption arc, or whether we will ever even see the Padawan turn pirate again. At this point, that secret is definitely more secure than the secret of Atatin.